I'm back, sort of, making content. It's been a minute since I've done anything here on the YouTube channel, but I wanted to kind of touch base on what's been going on. I've had a good number of people asking when videos are coming back, and they're coming back, I promise. It's just going to be a little different, and I'm sure some people will enjoy this and some people will not enjoy this. So it's going to be a weird one, but it's a decision that I've decided to make because of just how I want to create content. And unfortunately, it is not how YouTube wants me to create content. So at the base, this channel moving forward is going to be whatever the hell I want it to be. I'm going to make whatever content I feel inspired to create. And from that point forward, that may include parkour, and it probably will, because my entire life I've been around movement as a passion. So parkour is not going anywhere, but it is not going to be the sole focus of this channel in terms of topic or content. This is a decision I came to because looking back at my life, I've always enjoyed shifting directions, trying new things, testing something out, going back to something that I did before. It's always been a nice flow of creativity. And when I narrow it down to just a specific topic or a specific activity, it just doesn't feel right, is the easiest way to say it. And originally when I started posting to YouTube, I did post whatever I want. But it just changed because of how YouTube prioritizes content. And if you want to have a successful channel that, you can make a little money with, that's what you had to do. Money is not the focus of this channel, nor has it ever been. And when the parkour stuff initially started, it kind of took off with a little bit of steam. And to me, that was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. I wanted to try and grow the channel, and I was consistent. I did not play to all the needs of YouTube to really make the kind of content that does well. So I wasn't surprised when it didn't really yield any benefits towards the financial side of things. So with that being the roadmap for the channel, I next want to touch base on how I got here. This is not Phoenix, as many of you could tell. I am actually in my childhood backyard in the woods. I recently moved back to Michigan with my parents because at the end of 2022, I got divorced. Situations like that in a lot of people's lives really turn their reality upside down. And it did so for me too, but in a different way. And I kind of wanted to talk about that today as the first video back on the channel, because I think this is a part of my story that can benefit a lot of people in the same situation. And let's be honest, people get divorced every single day. People go through life-changing events that completely shift how they view themselves and the world around them. So when the divorce became finalized, I had two choices, right, on how I could view this situation happening to me. I could either be positive about it and find a way to learn from it and grow, or be negative about it and let it kind of crush me under the weight that divorce does to many people. And my entire life, I've always chosen the positive. No matter what, like in any person, in any situation, I've always tried to find the positive outlook on whatever it was. And then I had to decide if I was going to stay in Phoenix or if I was going to move back home to Michigan, which in my eyes, in everything that was originally discussed, that was our plan when we got married, was to eventually move back here. So in my head, I wanted to move back to Michigan pretty easily. I just had to find how to make it work best. And this, I think, plays into a lot of other aspects that most people would write off to chance, and I write it off to just life. And when that decision was made, I was going to move back to Michigan, I knew I had like a month. And at this point, I was on my own in our apartment, so I knew I had like a month to be able to afford where I was living. As that came up, I had a couple big jobs come through, and I got everything I needed to make it through that next month. I got everything I had and drove straight through back to Michigan. I think I took 4 20-minute naps through the 30-hour drive. So I got back to Michigan at like 5 a.m. I slept until like 8 and then got up for the rest of that day. Went to bed the next night, got up the next day, and went to work out with an old classmate of mine from high school. In the middle of working out, conversation shifted to the fact that the track and field team at my old high school was interviewing for an assistant track coach that day. Now, in that moment, I immediately viewed that as a sign, an opportunity that I had to take. So that day I went and interviewed for the assistant track coach at my old high school, and I got it, which then led me down the route of coaching at my alma mater here in Cedar Springs, Michigan. Something that was not on my plan for my future at all. Now, being back with my parents, I have been afforded the opportunity to have not so much stress in my life in terms of being able to live. And many of you know that living right now is very stressful when you are on your own, especially with everything going on. With that stress-free environment, I opened up to learning new and different things. And the way I learn is when I find something that piques my interest, I dive into it. I've always been that way. And I remember the first thing that really got me down this route was watching Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse. I got interested in learning about ancient civilizations, and particularly pre-human civilizations. And the crazy thing about Graham Hancock's work is that it completely destroys the concepts and narrative that our current history provides to us. He literally is rewriting how people view the history of human beings. So I dove into that, got down that rabbit hole, started learning about Atlantis and theories centered around Atlantis, which then led me into spirituality, quantum physics stuff, concepts, theories. I don't understand the science behind it, but the concepts of the quantum physics and all that. Then meditation. So I know this is like all over the place, but I'm just rambling. So basically I have been on an inner spiritual journey, I guess is what you would call it. In my schedule, like I get up very early in the morning. So usually I'll take 2 20-minute naps throughout my day. And it's just a quick way to get a recharge, boost of energy without having to consume caffeine. I have dabbled in meditation before, but it was really just stuff to help with like going to sleep a little bit easier. It was never really as a practice of mindfulness and inner work. I just had the sudden urge to swap out those naps for 20-minute meditations. Since I am someone that always tends to go with the flow of stuff, I was pretty excited to see where meditation was going to take me, and I wasn't disappointed. It's been a very interesting ride. So those 2 20-minute naps quickly turned into 2 to 3 hours of meditating a day. Those 2 to 3 hours usually in the beginning was centered around just learning, and I would try different guided meditations. I would try binaural beats. I would try there was this like CIA one, the Gateway Experience. I tried that, just kind of seeing how the meditation thing worked and different ways that people used it, until one day. So from all of those different techniques and practices, I kind of figured out my own way that I could do on my own. And I think I'll touch base on this in a different video, but it was just 3 stages of different things to get you into a deep meditative state fast. For me, it took sometimes 30 minutes doing it the other ways, and this allowed me to get into it within 5 minutes sometimes. This next part was a combination of 2 of the stages where I visualize my body being filled with light, and then I hum in sequence up my vocal cords, okay? It's called vocal resonation. I learned it in one of the guided meditations. And that paired with the visualization, at the end, my vision turned completely white. Like all I could see was white. And there was pulsing colors around my periphery. And I remember thinking as I was humming, because I was at the top end of my vocal range, and I was thinking, I can't go any higher in my vocal range. I know where my vocal range ends, and I'm like, well, that's it. Like, I can't go any higher. But the problem is the pulsing of the vision turned into a ringing in my ears, and the tone just kept going higher and higher, even though I'm almost certain it wasn't coming from my voice, because there's no way I could hit those notes. They were like whistles. Me thinking I can't get any higher was the last conscious thought I had. Like everything just went poof. And then I heard a voice. As crazy as that sounds, and saying it out loud sounds even crazier. I heard a voice, and I remember because I was spectating it. Like I heard it coming from this white expanse. It wasn't coming from me. I remember reacting to that voice talking. And the voice started in a chanting kind of tone. He said, everything that is, was, or will ever be exists right now. You are everything that is, was, or will ever be. You are eternal. Love is eternal. You are love. To which my subconscious mind just instinctively responded. Like I remember it, it's so weird talking about it because it is like it happened 5 minutes ago. My mind just responded, I am love. The voice then said again, love is light. You are light. Which then I responded again, I am light. The voice said, light is God. You are God. And I responded, I am God. He said, you are. I said, I am. And then he kind of repeated it. But at this moment, my heart was pounding so hard, like, and so fast. I genuinely thought I was going to die for a second. And that split second fear of being afraid of dying pulled me out. I was back consciously awake and crying in my desk chair in my room. 30-year-old man bawling. It was so bizarre. And the only way I can like explain it is when I came to, I just had an overwhelming sense of connectiveness to like everything. It was mind-blowing, really mind-blowing. And I didn't really know what happened. I was like, okay, it's a little weird. I need to go and look this up. And sure enough, within 5 minutes on Google, turns out it probably was a Kundalini awakening. And if any of you know what that is, you understand. If you don't know what that is, I would just go look it up, because it can lead you down a rabbit hole that I don't know if you're prepared for, but you might need. So that happened, which then just escalated more and more, and my meditations became brainstorming and thinking about concepts that I don't even know where they originate from. Like some of the stuff that I would just kind of think about, like, why would I think about this? And it's stuff centered around your body, like how your body works and operates in conjunction with so many other aspects of our lives. And although I find myself a creative person, like some of the stuff that was coming out when I was journaling and writing after meditation was just pure constant flow. That's all it was. Like, I didn't think when I was writing a lot of this stuff, it just went. And I really do think it just was the flow state. I found that after meditation, like that 10 to 15 minutes, you can get into and stay in that flow state for whatever you want to do. And for me, it was writing. So then I started sharing some of these journal entries on Facebook, and people started responding, and you know, here we are. There's so much other stuff I could talk about and cover, and I really am all over the place here, but that was kind of the point. I just want to come out here and use this as like a digital journaling session, really. So the meditation side of things is something that, you know, I realized is a tool that everybody should be utilizing because it allows you to do a lot. And so far, the main things I've used it for are doing body scans internally of my body and focusing on injuries that I've had, trying to internally heal them, which has worked, by the way. And you can call that what you want, but I know how my body usually responds to injuries and how fast it can recover. And doing this, it recovered faster. So back on track a little, that is some of the content that's going to be on this channel, is kind of just discussing life, discussing how we as people can just live better, I think. And it all starts with figuring out who you are at the end of the day. That content paired with parkour is not going anywhere. And there'll be other types of movement too. I'm probably going to make content centered around track because I am now a track coach. So I'll have some stuff there. If I feel like posting painting or art content, or if I feel like posting some music content, whatever the hell I want to make is what I'm going to make. And I'm just going to enjoy making content for me. And if you enjoy the content that I make, great. If not, it's okay. I completely understand. I mean, not everyone's mind works like mine does. And my mind works on the stream of trying everything and sharing it. So that's it. There's more. There's a lot more. And I could keep going, but I'm sure this video is already going to be super, super long. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue making content, but it is going to be the content that I want to make, whatever that is. YouTube can suck my last name. If they don't want to promote the channel, it's fine. It's cool. Doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, I started making content because I liked making it. I'm not going to let an algorithm tell me that my content isn't valuable. I'm going to make it anyways. Sorry for the crazy dump of information. There's going to be more of them because I've enjoyed kind of just rambling about topics and discussing things. And I think some of the discussions will pique your interest, I hope, and get you kind of just thinking a little bit differently about how you live your life and how to view the world around you. It's going to be good content, and I can't wait to share it with you all. So I appreciate your support. Even though I haven't been making videos, many of you still show interest. So just know that doesn't go unnoticed. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.